Hi, everybody, and welcome to Blessings Radio. I am your host, Jess Campbell, and today we have a very special guest, Eddie George of the New York State Iron Workers District Council. Thank you so much for joining us. You are doing amazing things, and I want you to first introduce yourself to our listeners and our viewers because we are also live streaming on Facebook.
Hi, everybody. My name is Eddie George. I'm with the New York State Iron Workers District Council. I'm the organizer for the whole New York State.
That is amazing. So, first, tell everybody, um, how did you get in this field?
Worked in construction and I started in the reinforcing end of it. And then I moved into doing the structure end of it and the miscellaneous iron. So that's how I ended up getting into the iron workers.
Okay. And with that, did you find it any difficulties getting into this field? Because a lot of people are not familiar with iron workers. They think all construction is just all construction. You know what I mean?
Well, no, an iron worker is, we start with the reinforcing end of it. We do the foundations on these buildings. We do the structure. We do bridges. We do schools. We do the hospitals. Whenever you see a building and you see the skeleton of the building, that's basically what the iron workers do.
And that's what my husband tells me all the time. He was like, "You never get to see my work because it gets covered up afterwards." He goes
That's
around, we drive around, he's like, "I built that, I built that, I did that, I did that." He's like, "But you don't see that. Obviously, you see the beauty of it outside, but the hard work that goes into making the solid foundation, so it not only can it be, pretty, but also safe, because that's
Yes,
very important."
that is correct. Yeah.
Definitely. So, what are you doing now as far as your goals? You're planning on recruiting people more?
Yeah. So our goal up in the Albany area, we're actually looking for iron workers and what we call reinforcing iron workers. Um, so we're going to have a lot of work, as you know. Albany is going to be striving. We have a lot of windmills that are coming up. We
Nice.
have a lot of construction happening in Albany, and we want to make sure that we uh, tap into the different community groups that are out there in order to get more membership into the local.
Definitely. Now, are there like any strict um requirements for somebody to apply if they are interested in becoming an iron worker?
Well, there's different ways of getting into the iron workers. One is through our apprenticeship. Our apprenticeship is based on 4 years, going to school twice a week at night, and getting all we give you, by the time you're done, you'll have every certification there is to be a fully JIW iron worker out in the field. So what requirements we need? If you're going through the apprenticeship, what you need is you need a high school diploma or a GED. Those are our basic requirements that we ask for.
Oh, that's awesome. So it's not that difficult. You just got to go in, but the work that comes afterwards,
Yeah.
the learning of it, because obviously you're working with foundations and it's you need to be safe with doing that and
Well,
also know what you're doing because you want to, make sure you're building correctly in the meantime.
we're fortunate enough that our instructors they work out in the field, they're certified in their craft, and they're learning from the best. They're learning how to conduct yourself when you go out there in the field. You have to be prepared. So it's a 4-year program for the apprenticeship, but the apprenticeship is monitored by the state. So we make sure that we put out an iron worker when he's done with the 4th year. He could do anything he wants.
Exactly. I was so happy when Joseph, my husband, he finally finished. He was thrilled. He was super excited. He loves being an iron worker. He's like, so iron worker this, iron worker that. It's like a brotherhood kind of when you're in
Yes,
the union, correct?
yeah.
And
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 I was fortunate enough to meet someone that that introduced me, because before I got into the union, I was a non-union iron worker. So I was fortunate enough to meet someone that talked to me about and guided me how to get into the iron workers, and really uh, put things in perspective of what it is to be part of a union.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't really know what's the difference. So if you want to break it down real quick between non-union and union iron workers.
Well, the difference is when you're a non-union iron worker, you don't have a voice. You're negotiating. One guy could be getting this amount, another guy, and usually the owners of the company says, don't tell this guy what you make, because you know I might be giving him a little bit more. It's always conflict. The difference between being in a union is that every iron worker, if you're a reinforcing iron worker, this is what you make. You could make a good living. You have benefits, you have a pension, you have an annuity, and a lot of these companies they don't give you none of that. And a matter of fact, when you were non-union, you have to pay for your medical. Being part of the union, the contractors pay for that for you.
And that's very expensive alone,
Yeah,
let
yeah,
alone not having like if you work 20 years and don't have a retirement or a pension, that is like, what did you just do? Now what are you going to retire off of because you don't have no money saved up,
yeah. That
you
is
know?
correct.
And also you have a voice in the union because you get union reps, correct?
That's correct. You got on the job sites, you have stewards, which is our representatives of the business agents in the office. And you have a safety issue, you go to the steward, talk to the steward. And those are there to make sure that you're doing, if you're new in the business, make sure that you're doing everything safe. We want everybody to make sure they get home safe to their families.
Yes, because I worry all the time when it comes to him because I tell him, I don't want to hear what you're doing at work. Tell me when you're done with it. Because he be,
Yeah,
climbing those high walls,
yeah.
or like in elevator shafts you guys be in and all this stuff. It's scary.
Well, and that's why we take pride in making sure that our apprentices is a new culture. We're teaching them that safety is number one. There's no taking a shortcut.
Yeah,
We want to make sure that you go home to your families.
definitely. Definitely. So with your recruitment now, are you having any like job fairs that are coming up?
So we got several job fairs. We got one May 13th, which is that's going to be in Rochester, New York. And then May 15th is going to be in Albany, New York. And that's at the local 12. It's in Layton, New York, 17 Hemlock Drive, Hemlock Street. And it's going to be from 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. It's going to be
Okay.
on a Saturday. The reason we did it on a Saturday, because if you're working, it's hard enough to make sure, you're not going to leave work and then maybe go see what, the ironwork is about. So we made it on a Saturday. So that way you could come in, you could give you a tour of our facility, our training facility. And, uh, and then we'll do a quick interview. If you got, right now we're looking for experienced guys. So if we're looking for apprenticeship. We
Yeah.
always are looking for apprenticeship, and we're looking for experienced iron workers. And those are if you have experience and you got proof that you're doing the work, then we could put you as a probationary member, and we'll
All
do that.
right. And they
We'll
don't
do
have to
that.
do this school?
If you have experience, you don't. But most of the time, what I tell guys that come in is that, look, we have journeyman upgrades. A lot of people, when you're this is one of the key issue too. When you're not union, you got to pay for certifications. You got to pay for your welding certs. You got to
Mm,
pay for safety. When you're in the union, you don't pay for that. The union pays for that. So
wow.
that's the difference. So we tell them, look, take advantage. So what we do for the guys that come in that need certain certifications, we have journeyman upgrades, and we continue. We're making sure when you're done with school, you can always come back, because look, there's changes, different codes. You got to take safety measures.
You got to
You got
stay on
to take
top
the
of
trade.
it.
So that's the difference. You can always come back. just because you're done with your training and there's a new certification, well, we're going to make sure that you get those certifications.
And you can get it for free.
You get it for free at the local. That's correct.
Exactly, because you know how much money that's saving everybody not having to pay for that?
That's correct.
That's
Yep.
that's a beautiful benefit right there.
I
So,
workers ask me all the time, Eddie, do I have to pay for certifications? No, I said, no, that's your school, that's your union, that's your hall.
that's
You know, you
awesome.
need a certification, go to the instructors. They'll tell you what days they're giving classes. They're giving the OSHA 10, what day they're giving it. They'll post it. They'll send you, they'll let you know when they're giving the classes.
Yeah, that's amazing. That right there is like, because then you can continue on no matter, because like you said, codes change every year, safety precautions. Then there's new technology, there might be new material that you need
Correct.
to learn, or and all that. So in these schools that you guys have, can you just kind of break down real quick what classes are taught? Because I heard you mention like welding
Yeah. So,
and something else.
so right now we teach reinforcing. It's a year of reinforcing. You
Mm-hmm.
learn how to do the foundation. You learn how to do walls. You learn how to tie, and there's different ties. So you learn all the ties there is to the reinforcing. If you're doing a wall, it's a different kind of tie. If you're doing a slab, it's a different kind of tie. So we'll teach you all that in the fundamentals of reinforcing. You know, so
Definitely.
that's just one. Then we have the welding. The welding, look, I always tell all the apprentices, take advantage of the welding because there's so high demand for welders. I'll tell you what, the windmills that are coming, we're
Hmm.
we're going to be shorthanded welders. So we need, if there's any welders out there, we need welders.
I
We
know a
need
few.
people
I'm
weld.
definitely going to give them your number. Tell them to contact local 12. I know of a woman welder as well. So
Yeah,
how is women with getting into your union?
I
Talk
could
about
I, I,
that.
I could tell you that we have different programs. We have a program called NEW, which is non-traditional unemployment for women. And I could tell you that I am very proud because my daughter is also an iron worker. So
Yay!
so there's many programs. We have non-traditional unemployment for women. We have helmets to hard hat, which takes our veterans that are coming back from uh, overseas and going into the different programs.
Oh,
We
that's
had that. We have
amazing.
another one. We're reaching out to, you know, pathway to apprenticeship is people that are just getting out on parole that need a chance. We have those opportunities.
That
We're
is
like
so
a
cool.
hidden gem in Albany that nobody really has come out and look for us.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's probably because they think it's super hard to get into a union. To be honest
Well,
with you, I think people are intimidated. That I think like the thought maybe, and I could just be
uh,
speaking for myself, but it's like you got to know somebody that knows somebody to
well,
get you in there.
it just,
Like the mafia
well,
kind of thing.
I could tell you that it used to be that way. It used to be a father and son business, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I was fortunate enough that I met somebody that was in it and that got me into the local. And I was one of the first Latinos in my local, so it's really I have seen the changes in the industry since I've been on. And I could tell you that a lot of our locals, and I covered down in New York City, I could tell you that most of the locals down in the city are probably 75, 80% minorities,
Mm,
black and brown folks.
nice.
And that's a change
Yes.
because it was a father and son. And
Mm,
of course, the same thing. We get in, we want to get our kids in it,
mhm.
so it's the demographics are changing. We're I think in Albany, and I say that because I think we're in a unique place that there's a lot of work coming. There's a lot of opportunities. So one of the things that we do is I try to reach out to the different community groups. I my thing at our district council is we work with community groups. We do grassroots organizing. That's what we do. We go out there and talk to the different organizations. I mean, I'm involved with different groups, down in the city. I'm starting to build relationship up in Albany. I'm reaching
Yeah.
out of our comfort zone, as they say.
And you just said you told me earlier that you did a one in Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
Puerto
we
Rico.
yeah, we I was one of the first, me and a couple of guys, Angel Dominguez. He was one of the guys that I work with, and we went to Puerto Rico. We needed manpower. We needed workers for a plant in Georgia, and we needed people that that we didn't have. We
Mhm.
couldn't get them in Georgia. So we went we went to Puerto Rico, and in 2 weeks, we were there 2 weeks, and we were going all over Puerto Rico. And it was, I went in jobs, I interviewed people they were doing work. I went up the stairs. I said, look, I'm looking for iron workers. And I had them do a couple ties and,
Mhm.
and then we did a job fair. We did a job fair.
Wow.
And in 2 weeks that we were there, we had over 180 ironworkers come
Oh
to
my
that job fair.
gosh, that is amazing.
So, so the first group that came to that plant was 80 Puerto Ricans from Puerto Rico. That
Wow, that is
Georgian plant.
so cool. You're
So,
like changing so many lives and you're like helping so many people as well in the meantime. You know what I mean? Because you're helping them so they can take care of their family and provide better for their family, giving them opportunities that can give their family. It's like a trickle down effect.
yes.
What you're doing, that's amazing. Thank you so much. That's awesome. So
No,
how can people Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
we take pride in being out there talking to workers, and if you're doing iron work, we want you part of our organization. You know, this is like you said before, this is a brotherhood.
Yeah,
You know, we want you part of it. And
definitely.
that's what we're doing up there in Albany. We're reaching out to, we're going into the city, we're going to neighborhoods that people didn't feel comfortable going to. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I never had that problem, but
exactly.
you know, but we're reaching out
I
and working with community groups and working with different agencies up there. Uh, we're going to be recruiting. I'm going to tell you, it's going to be good opportunities for members of the Albany, and the local is willing, is embracing the concept of reaching out to the look, this is new.
Yeah,
A lot of people that are not used to working with community groups. And we always say, look, if you want a project to pass, you got to be involved with the community.
yes.
And we are the community, but we're never, it's like we were shy about being out there,
Hmm.
you know. But we have to look, we have to be out there and bring folks in.
And that's what you're doing. You're breaking down those barriers, breaking down those walls that for some it feels like it's invisible, but you know that it's there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And by you going and reaching out to these communities and helping these people, like the fact that you said you have the program for the halfway, people,
yeah,
the guys coming out or females, people coming out of jail, that you can definitely change their life because they need help. You know what I mean?
yeah.
To get reestablished into the community, to have a solid foundation of their own with a job that will offer all of these amazing benefits that can also help them and their family.
And,
Like,
yeah, and one of the things that it's not a job that we're offering. This is not a job. This is a career.
it's a career, exactly. That is
This is
so
a
true. You get
career.
a whole pension, a require retirement, everything on top of all of that.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is amazing. So tell us how people can apply. Where can they find you? You got on May 15th, I believe you said
yeah.
the
May 15 is going to be from 8 to 4. That's at Albany Local 12. It's 17 Hamlock Street, Latham, New York. I'll give you the phone number for there too, and I'll give you my cell number. The
okay,
number for the local is
hold
518.
hold on one second. I'm gonna write this down in the thing. And you said May 15th, 8 to 4. That's 17 Hemlock
Yeah, 17 Hamlock Street, Latham, New York.
Street, Latham, New
One
York.
two 12110.
Okay,
And
and what is the phone number?
the phone number there is 518
Mm-hmm.
435
Okay.
0470. And I'll give you my cell phone number.
He's giving y'all his personal cell phone number,
Yeah, I know. Well,
guys.
I tell
Get
you,
serious about this recruitment.
well, we're look, we're not taking, we're not leaving any stone unturned. We want to make sure, uh, there's no excuse that, we want you there. We want you to come in. We want you to, take, opportunities. Like I said, there's we need a lot of welders. We need reinforcing, you know? So the way it starts, in order to put a windmill, you need to start doing the foundation. And what do we need? We need reinforcing. So, and we had different, we also have, training for setting up the windmills. We have a van that we have set up just to bring to the school, and we're gonna have it set up just to show people. And
Oh, wow.
so we're getting ready for what's coming up there,
Yeah. You're
and
being
there's a lot of good
prepared.
opportunities.
Definitely. And you guys better take advantage of this amazing opportunity. What is your cell phone, hun?
914
Mm-hmm.
552
Okay.
7278.
7278. So everybody that's watching on Facebook, you also can see in the comments that on May 15th from 8 to 4 at 17 Hemlock Street in Latham, you can go out for the open job fair.
Yep.
Okay, be prepared, have your stuff that you need. All that is really required is a high school diploma and or a GED.
Yep.
If you have experience, that's great, but none is needed, correct, right?
Yep. Yep.
Just come in with an open mind, so and let these wonderful people give you possibly the opportunity of a lifetime to join this beautiful brotherhood of family. Obviously, you guys know that my husband works for it. He absolutely loves it. It definitely has changed his life around. Works when he since he started working for the union, and now you guys have him as a teacher, so it just shows that there's a ladders to that. Like you
That's
can
right.
continue the growth. You
The,
understand?
the opportunity is endless. I
Yeah.
mean, you'll get whatever you put into it. It's like anything else. But
Yep.
I could tell you, getting involved, you start. You start teaching the new apprentices coming in. You start, people start to get to know you. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities there. I encourage a lot of, get involved with your local. Look, one of the questions, some people ask, are there dues? We pay $37 a month,
Yeah,
roughly
that's
$37 a month.
nothing.
But you can make a good living. You
Seriously.
can
Take
make a
it
good
from
living.
one who works there. He makes
Yeah.
a good living. Amen.
So it's like, look, one of the biggest things that I take pride is, when we organize workers and we bring people in, and I always tell people this because I had this guy that I organized, and he called me up on a Friday, and I'm thinking something's wrong. He calls me up. He says it was like 5 o'clock. He says, Eddie, I said, what's wrong, Mark? He says, look, Eddie, I want to thank you because I just did a closing at my house.
Yeah.
And that was so, I mean, I said,
Changing
I
lives.
said, Mark, he says, Eddie, I haven't even called nobody, and
Oh,
that really,
touched your
those are
heart.
the things that touches me. When
Yeah.
people, it changes people's life. It really
It
does.
it does. And
And for
that's
the better.
yes, and that's what you're giving to all of the people in New York, not even in New York, but you went out to Puerto Rico and changed their lives too. So God bless you, Mr. George, for
Thank you.
providing this opportunity, showing people that there's no longer that wall there. They don't have to be just know somebody that knows somebody to get into this union. You're openly inviting people to come in
That's
and
correct.
join your family because that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what we want. We want to make sure that, look, we're going to different areas. We're knocking on doors. We're meeting with community folks. We meet with clergy because we need to make sure everybody knows that we're out there, that we're looking for people. You know, Look, it's hard enough to really what's happening with this whole COVID thing, and we have to be careful, And but we, we're out there knocking on doors and trying to bring people in. And through this whole thing, we've been essential workers because we're putting the schools, we're putting the hospitals, we're building the bridges. You know?
Exactly.
So
And you guys been working throughout this entire time
yeah,
because it don't stop. The ironworkers don't stop.
no, we're out there. Uh,
Rain, snow,
look,
everything, COVID,
yeah. But
nonstop.
no, we're careful. We want to make sure that, like I said, we want to make sure everybody's healthy.
Yes.
And with this whole thing is, but we've been out there knocking and doing a lot of Zoom meetings. That's a new thing, it's like,
Yep.
but uh, but it reaches people,
It
and we're
does.
being able to continue pushing the envelope. Like I said, I was in Rochester last week, talking to folks, trying to make sure that we bring people in, and the same thing up there, the same message. We gotta, one of the first things I do is when we go to the local, I ask them what community groups are we working with, you know, and they look at me, oh, I said, well, this is look, this is what we do at the district council. We work with community groups. We work with different organizations. We want to make sure that when they mention the ironworkers, they know that we're there. We're there
Exactly.
and bringing in people.
That is true. And you guys are doing that. So everybody, please make sure to go check Mr. Eddie George out. Definitely this May 15th from 8 to 4 in Latham. The numbers are posted for you guys to give them a call, 518-435-0470. And you're also doing one in Rochester, May
We're
13th.
doing one in Rochester, May 13th. That's a Thursday. There's a lot of work coming up there. Also, we have windmills going up there, and we have Amazons are being built all over, and we're building some of those Amazons too. So um,
Awesome.
there's
Busy,
a
busy,
lot.
busy.
Yeah, there's a lot of work. We're going to be busy for a while, and that's why we look. We want apprentices. We want experienced folks. We're looking for rod busters. We're looking for structure hands. We're looking for miscellaneous. We also do fencing with the miscellaneous. That's part of our trade.
Oh, wow,
So
cool.
yeah, we're out
There's
there.
a lot of different avenues people can go in and not necessarily just stick with one. They can do all of them, right?
Well, that's correct. A lot of people, you find your niche, right? Some people like reinforcing, and doesn't mean our apprenticeship, our local at local 12, it's a mixed local. So you learn about rebar, you learn about structure, you learn how to weld, you learn how to do miscellaneous stairs and fencing. But it doesn't mean that you have to, stick to one. You know what I mean? You could do it all. But
Exactly.
some people feel more comfortable doing reinforcing, some people doing more structure. So everybody finds their niche, and that's where they stick in
Hmm.
their careers.
But it's nice that you can get your hand in a little bit of everything to get all the
Yeah,
experience. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Instead of just one trade, you're
yeah.
learning many different trades.
Well, that's the unique thing about coming out of a mixed local, that you learn every trade of our industry.
Yeah, that's
In New York City, they're just specialty locals. So if you're doing rebar, that's how you're gonna learn.
yeah.
If you're doing structure, that's all. But being part of upstate, most of the locals upstate are all mixed locals, because that way, they're not like complex as New York City. It's a
Yeah.
different ball game.
But it's beautiful because it makes you more valuable at the end of the day,
Yeah,
for an employer or for a future, site. Like, not only do you know how to tie, but you know how to weld, and not only do you know how to do this, but you know how to fence. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like,
I
I want that guy, I want that guy, I want that
Of
guy.
course, that's
That's
the
the
unique
beauty of it.
that's the unique part of it, because you could go there, start the foundation, and finish the work.
Exactly.
So it's like we're being part of a mixed local. Some people say, well, no, it's very unique,
It
because I could
makes
tell
sense.
you, I used to work out in the field, and I could tell you I went from the foundation to the structure to the miscellaneous. I was always working, because I always tell the apprentices, the more you learn, the more valuable you are.
Exactly.
So
That's how you want to keep it. Make yourself very valuable Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you.
George, Eddie George. We appreciate you for coming on Blessings Radio and sharing this amazing opportunity for not only people in Albany, but also in Rochester and Syracuse, as well as what you did in Puerto Rico. You are valuable. We appreciate you for everything.
Thank you. The
Such an
iron workers,
honor.
the iron workers.
Yeah,
We're out there and we want to, you know, come and see us on May.
yes. Definitely May 15th and
May
in
15th, yeah.
Albany and May 13th in Rochester.
Chester, New York. Yeah.
And make sure to give him a call at 914-552-7277 or 518-435-0470.
No, 914-552-7278.
78. Oh man, I messed that up.
See, I was
See,
missing the
why
calls
I
already. I'm
say you
missing
have
those calls already.
I nobody even called you and I messed it up. 914 five
552
two
7278.
7278. Okay, I just did
Looking
that.
forward to seeing a whole bunch of new folks on May 15th from 8 to 4. Come on down if you got experience. We're looking for welders, rod busters, structure hands, miscellaneous. If you're doing iron work in the Albany area, local 12 is looking for you.
Yeah, so come and get that job. Come and get involved in this amazing family that I married into. So it's a beautiful family and it's a blessing to be in. Thank you so much, Mr. X.
Jessica, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. You too, hon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.